It looks like another big name has signed with AEW as Bobby Lashley is set to join All Elite Wrestling very soon. This according to a brand new report courtesy of FightfulSelect.com. We're going to talk about the report, what it means, why Bobby Lashley could be set up for some monumental success in AEW, who his first feud will likely be, as if you didn't already know, and much more. We're also going to talk about WWE Bad Blood, a bit of a controversy going into it, and a controversy that involves CM Punk, as we now know which match is going on last. And let me just tell you, some people will not be happy about this. We're going to talk about that much more coming up right here in this video, so be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Okay, first things first, let's talk about Bobby Lashley, the almighty as some call him. He looks to be joining AEW. This was, quite frankly, expected to happen, but I don't know if the report was expected to come out as early and as soon as it did. But here's what we know, courtesy of FightfulSelect.com. Fightful Select's Sean Ross Sapp reported in September that MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley were all in talks with AEW, but the deals had not been finalized. However, following MVP's debut on AEW at Grand Slam, it was confirmed by Fightful that he's signed a contract. Here's the kicker. Now, the same goes for Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley, the latter of which has an impending debut. We're told that the three all nailed down their deals a number of weeks ago. MVP is expected to primarily serve as a manager, with Shelton and Bobby Lashley wrestling. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is going to be good because right now AEW has set this up perfectly. MVP obviously debuted a couple of weeks, or actually last week, at AEW Grand Slam. It was a big debut, and the question was, if he's going to come in, there has to be someone coming in with him, right? He's not just going to come in and take Nano's role as Swerve's manager. But we all knew from the beginning that this was a possibility. We all knew, given the rumblings, that AEW was in talks with the Hurt business. They were in talks with the Hurt Syndicate, whatever you want to call them. Shelton Benjamin, there were reports that they were in talks with him going back to earlier this year. So this should not come as a surprise, especially when we heard as you know, abrupt and you know, quite frankly, mysterious as their departure, from WWE was. I think it was kind of expected they would do something big, and whatever they would do together. And it looks like we're getting the Hurt Syndicate, because that's what it said on MVP's card. Looks like we're getting the Hurt Syndicate in AEW. That means MVP, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley for now, because there could be people added later. I think this is great. I think, you know, the obvious place to do this would be in Tacoma, Washington at WrestleDream. They've been building this thing up with MVP. Him reaching out to Swerve, him telling Nana, hey, tell Swerve to come and find me, all that stuff. Shout out to MVP and his raspy voice. Love that. But he's been doing all this stuff, right? And teasing that, Swerve's got to make a decision. And that's what I think this is going to be. At WrestleDream in Swerve's hometown of Tacoma, Washington, I think they're going to try to build to a decision. And I think in that moment where Swerve has to kind of choose between Nana and MVP, Nana, the guy who's been there in storyline with him, the guy who's been there by his side, doing everything, building this with him in AEW. I think he's going to look over at MVP and be like, thanks, but no thanks. At which point, I think MVP is going to bring in his plan B, and I would have him debut Bobby Lashley by beating down Swerve in his hometown. Major heel heat, with two big wrestling stars, and there's a path forward to a pay-per-view match at the next pay-per-view. There's a path forward to whenever you want to do this. And also, remember, with Bobby Lashley, this could tie in potentially, fantasy booking aside, this could tie in potentially with the potential Shane McMahon rumors that we've heard, because right now the BCC, they seem to be teasing that there is someone pulling the strings behind the scenes. So there could be a lot of interesting things happening. Lines are being drawn. We also saw MVP reach out to Mercedes Moné for representation. So it could be a fun thing that they do here. And look, regardless of what you think, I think Lashley versus Swerve, that is a pay-per-view level match that does not need any stakes, does not need a championship. And it's something that keeps Swerve, I think, away from the world title picture for now, because he will eventually get back there. But it's something that keeps him away for now that, you know, also feels like a big deal. Because remember, Lashley is just not coming in as, you know, another former WWE guy. He's a former multi-time WWE champion. And someone who, at the age of 48, still looked like he was chiseled out of granite. Look at that, man. That is not, I don't know many 48-year-olds who look like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. That is a dangerous man. That's a scary man. And from what I hear, he's also a very nice man. So shout out to Bobby Lashley. But could be big things brewing there with Swerve and Lashley for sure. Guess we'll find out at Wrestle Dream, which, by the way, there's still a lot of tickets available for AEW Wrestle Dream. And if you guys are going to go to the show, if you're planning on buying tickets, let me give you a deal that's going to make your day and make that a whole lot easier. If you guys want to save $20 off your first purchase, use a promo code REALTAKE. You use the promo code REALTAKE with our partners over at SeatGeek, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase when you download the app. Link is in the description of this video. All you got to do is download the app, and then you put in the promo code REALTAKE, $20 off your first purchase. And for an AEW ticket at Wrestle Dream, I ain't gonna lie to you guys, sizable discount. It's like nearly, like, you could, if you're sitting up top, that's like half off. If you're sitting, you know, in the lower bowl, that's like 30, 40% off. That's a good deal. I'm giving you guys a good deal. $20 off your first purchase. Or if you're like me and you're trying to go to Bad Blood, I mean, $20 is not going to make a big difference because WWE is charging like at least $350 to get into the building. But this will still save you some money. So go check it out. Link in the description. Promo code REALTAKE to save $20 off your first purchase. Let's now move on to WWE Bad Blood news, as we now know one of the most important things that people have been talking about, something that's been brewing a lot of controversy online, that being the match order. Which match is going on last? Will it be the match that has been built up for months and months and months, and the culmination of arguably WWE's hottest feud, that being between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, Hell in a Cell, which, you know, is in the same spirit as this pay-per-view Bad Blood? Or will it be Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes teaming up in Atlanta for the first time in a place that has so much history for both men? We now know the answer, and here it is. According to PW Insider, this is an aggregation from WrestleOps, WWE has locked in their plans for what will main event Saturday's Bad Blood 2024 event. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline will main event. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell is currently planned to open. Now, this comes off the heels of a lot of teasing by Cody Rhodes and Pat McAfee, for that matter. Cody was on the Pat McAfee show earlier this week. He was teasing the potential of The Rock coming back. He said big guy. He didn't say The Rock, but he said big guy. And it was something that had quote-unquote championship implications. So there's a lot of teasing that this could be The Rock in a moment where The Rock returns. Cody also said that, it's going to be a video package. So if The Rock comes in direct to satellite, that would be the funniest thing for the people who did not pay to be in that building, because those tickets are insanely expensive. Anyway, in case you didn't already know. But regardless, they're kind of teasing or teeing up something big there. And I get it, right? I get it. If you're getting The Rock, you want him to close the show. Totally understand that. I get it. I see it. I hear it. And in that respect, I think it's the right decision. All that being said, though, for me, I think that the match that goes on last should be and feel like the most important match on the show. And as, you know, Cody Rhodes, Roman's first match after beat WrestleMania, the first time he's wrestling in a ring since WrestleMania, that is a big moment. Don't get me wrong. That is a big, important point in time. But the finality of this Drew versus Punk feud, the fact that it's in Hell in a Cell, the fact that it started back in January, and if you really want to go, it started before he torched CM Punk's tricep in that Royal Rumble match. It started back when Drew McIntyre walked out when CM Punk walked back into the company. This has been something that has been 6, 8, 9, 10 months at this point in the making. Nearly a year. Again, if you want to go back to November last year. So, for me, as someone who believes that this is WWE's best built feud, I think that it should go on last. But sometimes in wrestling, it's one of those things, right? Where WWE isn't necessarily at this point kind of concerned with like, okay, well, this match kind of deserves to go on last. They are trying to create a moment. They are trying to go off the air with as much energy, quote unquote, as possible. They want to go away and leave the fans hanging with the image potentially of The Rock being there. Watch what happens next. And if that is what you're doing, this makes a lot of sense. I understand it. I see it. I hear it. Can't disagree with it. But if we're talking about what match deserves to be the main event, there's no doubt in my mind it is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, just off of the merit of the feud. Because quite frankly, this Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus Bloodline stuff has not been hitting. It was really good. That return for Roman was insane. Great pop, all the stuff. He had all the aura in the world. He still has it. But on one hand, with Roman and this Bloodline thing, it almost feels like we're getting diminishing returns with Solo Sikoa leading this thing, and we're kind of having like a Jacob Fatu being held back a little bit. On the flip side, on Cody, he just can't seem to escape the Bloodline universe. No matter what he does, no matter where he goes, no matter what pay-per-view it is, like four of the pay-per-view matches that Cody will have had after this Saturday, 4 of the past pay-per-view matches Cody will have had after Mania will have involved members of the Bloodline. That's not good. That's not good. Cody needs to move past the Bloodline. I'm still waiting for Cody to have a real feud. Like, at this point, they've gone back and forth with Cody and the Bloodline. He has not had a chance to set a tone for this title reign. That is the biggest problem with the Cody Rhodes title reign. He has not had a chance to set the tone for what this title reign means, for what this Cody Rhodes character is, for why we as fans are supposed to care about Cody Rhodes past the point that, well, he's the American Nightmare, damn it. And that's fine. But this is his first title reign. And there's been nearly no compelling storytelling. The stuff they're doing with Kevin Owens, I think, is somewhat interesting. But the fact that it's lost in this Bloodline mess, and it doesn't like ebb and flow, because you can tell multiple stories. I'm a big proponent of telling multiple stories at once. But it doesn't ebb and flow well. When Cody is in the Bloodline universe, he is in the Bloodline universe. And when he's not, well, we haven't really got a chance to see that past 3 weeks. And maybe it's just emblematic of the Bloodline being so prominent on WWE TV and such a focal point that it's inescapable. But if there was one guy that you would want to kind of set a tone for himself, to be, you know, a self-made man, to kind of I just want to know, man. I just want to see Cody Rhodes in stories that matter, like, to him. There is no reason for him to be in this match from a storyline standpoint, if we're being honest. I still don't know. What is the reason that Cody Rhodes said yes to Roman's offer after saying no? Is it respect? So Cody Rhodes wants to, knowing that he's going to be playing like second, third fiddle in this, he's doing this for respect? Come on. From a character standpoint, that's pretty weak if you ask me. Again, I love Cody. It's the booking that's been atrocious and has turned a lot of people off, quite frankly, from this title reign. We'll see, man. Look, at the end of the day, Mania season ramps up. That's when Triple H is. That's the few months that Triple H is really good at booking in. So we'll see what happens. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Should CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre main event? Should Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus the Bloodline main event? Also, let me know what you guys think about Bobby Lashley potentially joining All Elite Wrestling. I want to hear from you in the comment section. Also, be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.